Hi everyone, we are going to just quickly review how to solve for the solutions to an inequality. So these are one variable, so we are going to solve just like we would an equation for x. So in A, I'm going to start by adding 7 to both sides. So x is less than 5. So what we're going to do is we're now going to put this on the number line below. So we want to show that x is less than 5, and we start with always putting 0 on the number line, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be labeled as well. 5 is what we call our boundary point. Boundary point. So this is where we have to choose to shade to the left of this number or to the right of this number. But before that, we have to choose what type of dot goes at 5. Are we going to put an open dot or a closed dot? And in this case, there's no or equal to, so it is an open dot. That means we can get really, really close to 5, but it can't actually equal 5. So open circle at 5. And now I want to shade x is less than 5. So I'm going to pick a number that is less than 5, and I'm going to test it in the original inequality. So I'm going to use x is equal to 0. So 0 minus 7 is less than negative 2. Negative 7 is less than negative 2, so I am going to shade over the side that has the 0 on it. So just confirming that our answer was correct. Testing it is our main priority to make sure we did not make a mistake while solving. All right, example number 2. We are still going to go about this the same way. I'm going to subtract 8m from both sides. I'm going to get negative 5m plus 2 is less than or equal to negative 8. I'm going to subtract a 2 from both sides. Negative 5m is less than or equal to negative 10. Last but not least, we divide by a negative 5. And remember, when we divide by a negative or multiply by a negative in an inequality, our inequality symbol here has to flip. Negatives make things go to their opposites, and that includes inequality symbols. So because I divided by negative 5, you can see I have flipped my inequality symbol, and still on the left I'm now left with m, and on the right a positive 2. So my m values should be greater than or equal to 2. So on my number line I'm going to put 0, and I'm going to put 2 and a few extras. I chose to put 2 on the number line because that's my boundary point. And I am going to choose a solid circle because we have the or equal to symbol. So a solid circle on the number 2, and the m is greater than or equal to, so I'm going to assume we should be shading to the right, but I'm going to test a point from that section to make sure. So I'm going to test the number 3. So 3 times 3 plus 2 should be less than or equal to 8 times 3 minus 8. And that is true. So I am going to shade over that side. Awesome. Okay, and the final practice we are going to do does involve a fraction, but it should not make a difference. We follow the same exact process. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and we have 2/3 times p is greater than negative 2. And I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2/3 to make it a 1. So we just are left with p on the left-hand side. So 3 cancels with 3, 2 cancels with 2, and we have p is greater than negative 3. because negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So I'm going to put 0 on the number line. I am also going to put negative 3 because, again, negative 3 here is my boundary. And I'm assuming that we need values greater than, so that's an open circle. I would assume that we are going to shade to the right. So I'm going to test an x value that is on the right-hand side. So I'm going to let x equal 0 for my test. Oh, I can't read that very well. Test x equals 0. So in the original, we'll have 2/3 times 0 minus 2 is greater than negative 4. Negative 2 is greater than negative 4, and that is true. So we are going to shade over the answer that gave us a true inequality. Awesome. So just a few reminders. We find the boundary point. Once that is done, it goes on our number line. Based on the symbol, we have a filled in dot if we have a greater than or equal to or the less than or equal to symbols. We have an open dot if it's greater than or less than without the or equal to. And then the last kind of reminder rule is that when we multiply or divide an inequality, by a negative, we flip the symbol. All right, that's all for now. I'll see you guys soon.